The San Francisco 49ers get embarrassed in Green Bay. They continue to struggle. They can't figure out ways to score. And they can't figure out stopping teams from scoring. We'll talk about it right here on the Wayne Breezy Show. Got a lot of questions, and hopefully we can open up them phone lines so you can get your take off right after this. What's going on, 49er faithful? It's your boy, the Wayne Breezy. Welcome to the Wayne Breezy Show. Yeah. Man, I was exhausted last night. You know what I'm starting to realize? Like, watching San Francisco 49ers play football, that junk is exhausting. It takes up all of my energy. It takes up a pretty chunk of my time. And the results suck, right? Because the Niners suck. So, like, at this point, they're just not a good team. They're not a good team when their starters are out there, and they're damn sure not a good team when their backups come out there. And just overall, like, this game had to be the most embarrassing loss in the Kyle Shanahan tenure of football. But it won't be equivalent to some other losses because he didn't have a starting quarterback. So he's always going to have a little bit of grace from some of the faithful, right? Like a little bit of grace from some of the faithful. But I tell you what, today we're going to break down this game. We're going to recap the game. I'm not breaking down shit. We're going to recap the game and try to figure out where stuff just went wrong. And we'll go over some grades. We'll go over some hot takes, and then you guys can call in and take off. You know what I mean? But shout out to the Breezy Bunch crew out there, man. I see you guys out there. I just wanted to give you guys the air horns. Early show, Peachy, early in the morning salute. Morning and salute, Breezy. Some seem to think we are into it because we have live debates on shows. Well, Breezy's so if you watched the show last night, there's always going to be times and points in the show where we're going to agree or disagree. And, they're not really that serious. I don't know why people take what we do on the air seriously, but yeah, that's what drama, that's what people do. You know what I mean? 49ers throwback, thanks for joining, man. Appreciate what you do out there in the 49er community as well. Jax Knox says, well, on to the next Buffalo ticket. So I'm glad you were able to sell those tickets. Can't do the snow for 4 quarters. It's going to snow in Buffalo, man. And that's crazy, right? Because there's a report going out saying that because of the rain or whatever on this particular field, obviously you watch the 49er players, they were slipping and sliding. I thought I was watching a commercial from the 80s with the slip and slide, but they were all over the place. Quarterback couldn't get his footing. Not an excuse, but I'm a little concerned. I mean, like, how's that field going to look in Buffalo this week when they head out there, especially if there's snow? Will they be slipping and sliding? I don't know. It's just little things to pick up on. Every week it's the same old, no change. So 49ers, when y'all ready to win, just win. You should have said when you're ready to win, let me know. Then I'll get back to watching. It's really, you know what it is? It's really hard to watch this team. like just a show of hands. Like, and this has nothing to do with testing your faith. It has nothing to do with any of that. You watch because you're faithful. You watch and you know that the game or the outcome isn't going to be good, but you have a glimmer of hope, and the results are the same. This time the results were like blown way out of proportion. You know what I mean? Boats, what's going on? He says, we got crushed like a crouton with a combat boot on. Yeah, man, because croutons are hard to crush without a combat boot. You ever try to crush a crouton with your fingers? Nah, but you put the boot on, straight crush. I agree with you, man. We got blasted. We got super blasted. Cheers. You for Life finally made the afternoon early show. You know what I'm saying? And he says, Kyle is trash. Yeah. At this point, Kyle is a bunch of stuff. Kyle is not good. Kyle is trash. Kyle can't figure things out. There's a lot of stuff or a lot of takes you could talk about Kyle Shanahan. And right now, Kyle's a loser. Team can't figure out how to win. Regardless of injuries. I hate using injuries as an excuse. Please miss me with that. If you're a professional football team, at least go out there and compete. What I saw from the 49ers was competition. I didn't see any competitiveness from the San Francisco 49ers. Not from the starters, not from the captains, not from anybody. That's the part that was messing me up mentally. And I'm about as I'm the George Kittle of content creating. I'm the optimist. I don't want to be that way, but I always see the glass as half full. Watching them perform in Green Bay made me see the glass half empty. At this point, they didn't even show up to play. I don't care what any of the players said. I don't care if they said, well, yeah, bump all that. They didn't even show up to play. Now, before I dig down, because I'm about to get into my emotions. I want to check my emotions at the door. I'm here for you. This is the therapy session. I'm here for you, not here for me. But make sure you hit that like button, all right? And subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching. I do appreciate it. Shout out to everybody on Facebook. Shout out to everybody right here on YouTube, as well as on Twitch. We got a few new Twitch subscribers, so thank you so much for following on there as well. I will be breaking down this film, and I hate to say it, but, if you want, go ahead and support me on the patreon.com/DwayneBreezy. I'm going to be getting to that, but this is going to be the worst film I've ever had to break down. College Trash. Is this the call-in show? I'm definitely working on, and I have it set up to be the call-in show. And so hopefully, NAFCA, it'll work. And we're going to try to figure it out. Hopefully we can get it to work. If not, I could go to plan B, and I could get you on StreamYard. I wanted to do it with the telephone, but if plan A doesn't work, we'll do the StreamYard for sure. 100%. All right, we'll get the StreamYard for sure. We got a super chat contribution we can start the show off with. Jack Knox says, let's go because I got some stuff to say. That's good. Uncle Salty, what's going on? Crazy Juices in the house. Red Jet Shell is in the building. She says, like and sub, everybody. Corey, I see you out there. Ben is in the building as well. Appreciate you, Ben. And everybody else that's just here on the live show. Justin, I see you, man. San Francisco 49ers got mollywopped last night. And, losing by 28 points is an issue to me. That's a huge issue. Huge issue to me. So 28-point loss. Now, I'm just curious to know. As I try to recap what we saw, there are a bunch of issues that the San Francisco 49ers had, particularly in this game. I don't want to talk about overall, but just a bunch of different issues. And defensively, they couldn't stop the running back. 19 missed tackles. I felt like there were 20 missed tackles total in this game. The report says 19 missed tackles. The penalties were at 9. Again, heavily on the offensive side. Only 1 penalty on the defensive side, so 8 offensive penalties again. Back-to-back games with offensive penalties. I feel like, the game, the utilization of the rotation of players is terrible. At this point, it's like, what the freak? And so I just don't see anything changing much from Kyle Shanahan. And so we're going to have to go out here and sit for the remaining 6 games. We got 6 games left. We're going to have to go out here, support this team, and watch him make 0 changes. And we got to hope that players just show up and find a way to execute. Mike in the building, 19-month member, man. What's going on? He says, hey, saw this started back up. Why we suck again? I'm going through that right now, bro. I'm going through it. And I just think overall, when you're, just starting from I'll start with the defensive side. Recapping the game, the team gave up 10 points in the first quarter. So starting defensively, when you let them go on a 12-play drive, when did the offense get the ball first? And I got a lot to say about the offense too. The offense is when I'm going to trash Kyle Shanahan. Let me just double check. So the offense didn't get the ball until 7 minutes and 30 seconds in the first quarter, which is ample amount of time. But the defense couldn't figure out how to get them off the field, and they gave up the touchdown right off the bat. So defensively, they couldn't stop the run. 19 missed tackles. They gave up 70-plus yards to Josh Jacobs in the first half. He finished with 106 and 3 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs was the first running back this season. This is why I'm pissed off about the defense. Josh Jacobs, first running back this season that rushed for over 100 yards on the 49ers. Josh Jacobs is the first running back in 55 starts that's rushed for over 100 yards against the 49ers. 55 games ago, there hasn't been a 100-yard rusher. In 55. That's a crazy stat. And the Niners' run defense, minus Nick Bosa out there, because that's the only key piece, in my opinion, that was missing. Allowed Josh Jacobs to go ham. And then when you go back and watch the game, I know you're going to go back and watch the game, or maybe some people you're just going to move on to the next game. That's fine. When you go back and watch it, you'll be like, well, damn, the defense was there. Yeah, they were. They just couldn't bring him down. It was like he was pulling two Mack trucks by himself. Two tractor trailers. Josh Jacobs was pulling tractor trailers all game. Couldn't tackle him. Devondre Campbell couldn't tackle him. Fred Warner had 4 missed tackles. He led the team with missed tackles. 4 of them things. Best players. Fred Warner in this game had the second lowest PFF grade. A 44.1. That's bad. That's terrible. Ronaldo Green was the lowest because he gave up that big explosive play across the middle. But Fred Warner was like a shell of himself. And this game, I watched veterans be shells of themselves. I thought Fred Warner was the worst player on the defensive side. I thought them not being able to stop the run, they did adjust. I will give it to them. They did adjust. They did kind of tame the run a little bit in the second half, but they dropped a couple of turnovers. The secondary dropped a couple of turnovers. They just didn't help themselves, in my opinion. Again, one penalty. You had the PI call on Ronaldo Green. That hurt him a lot. I thought it was good defense. I thought it was a ticky-tacky call, but hey, refs are going to call things that look close to them, so don't give them anything to call. But flipping it to the offensive side, and the offense with a backup quarterback named Brandon Allen looked like they did. They looked just like I just don't understand that I don't understand how this offense. I don't understand how a play caller like Kyle Shanahan can allow his offense to be this inefficient. Like, it was really bad to watch. And it started on their first play. It was a good play. It was a I would say like a broken down play. Brandon Allen flips the ball. George Kittle gets you 9 yards. I'm like, okay, there's positivity here. Let's think positive. Backup quarterback comes in, makes a play. Made a play. I'm like, yeah, we good. Then on the next play, false start, Dominic Pooney. You go from 2nd and 1 to 2nd and 6, just like that. Then you come out and try to run it. You got no pop Christian McCaffrey, right? No pop out of the backfield. Dude, the juice, no juice. No juice out of Christian McCaffrey at this moment in his career. He gets a 1-yard gain. I didn't think the blocking was great, but it is what it is. Then it's 3rd and 5. And what happens on 3rd and 5? Oh, I know. When you got 3rd in these medium, long situations, oh, I know. They're going to blitz. And what happens? Rashawn Gary gets a sack. And just like that, the Niners are punting. It started with the penalty. And those are the little things, the little mistakes that I just be like, man, how can they fix them? And we could say coaching, we could say whatever. At the end of the day, the players can't false start. They can't hurt their team's opportunities and chances. That was just the first drive. Thought the second 49ers drive, because the defense held them to 3 points on that. So I'm like, okay, maybe the defense is getting better. The Niners get the ball back. First play of that second drive. Holding. Dominic Pooney. And it's just like, man, like now you go from 1st and 10 to 1st and 20. These are things that are tough, right? These are things that are really tough. So 1st and 10 to 1st and 20. And so I'm like, all right, man, all right. What is this team going to do? Obviously, there's no first and 20 plays. And they try to dig themselves out of the hole, but they got to punt again. And it wasn't until that third drive where they did have some more penalties on the third drive, but they were able to overcome it. They sustained the long drive. They were able to get a touchdown, to George Kittle, the only touchdown in that game. In that game, they were able to sustain it. Then they had about 3 penalties on that drive, but they made it a 17-7, lead, deficit, going into the half. Luckily, Green Bay wasn't able to score again because Christian Watson drops a wide open pass, and the Niners are down by 10 at the half. Third quarter comes out, and then the penalties shift. So they shifted from offense to special teams. And there is where you guys had to start losing your head, because you finally get an explosive play from the special teams. Haven't had one all season. It happened to come from a person named Deebo Samuel, who's been having a bad season. Statistically, whatever you want to say about Deebo, be my guest. This has not been his season, and he's not looked good. He had one good-looking game, and then after that, it was just everything has been mid or subpar or bad, whatever words you want to look at it. But he gets this explosive play, and it gets negated by another ticky-tacky call. Like I feel like whoever Eric Saubert was holding did the LeBron James. That was the best flop I've ever seen in my life. It's like he fell down before, I felt like Saubert held him because he was falling down, and Saubert didn't want to fall down. It was one of them weird ticky-tacky calls, but what an acting job. They get the call, and that gets negated, and it gets back to the Niners. And next thing you know, it's just rough. It was just rough. So Brandon Allen, 2 fumbles in this game, recovered 1. 1 was a turnover. Doesn't look good. Couldn't run the ball. 14 rushing. At the end of the day, I'm like, my gosh, man, find a way to run the ball. You got all these options. Hell, give it to Deebo. We finally don't run with Deebo. Man, I'm like, yo, give it to somebody. Somebody got to run it. Somebody. He could have gave it to Jordan Mason. He gets you the biggest explosive run of the day for 16 yards. The next thing you know, that was it. It was like, damn, McCaffrey only needed 1 breather? I'm going to need McCaffrey to take 10 breathers. At least that's 10 carries or 10 snaps for Jordan Mason. And again, when we talk about Kyle Shanahan and people talk about him as the head coach, part of managing the players, that's part of coaching. If you can't manage your players properly, that's bad coaching. So yeah, the play calls may not be great, or the play calls may be good and the players not execute. But when you're not putting the best players out there on the football field to give you an opportunity to win, that's the issue. That's my issue with Kyle Shanahan. Because at this point, it's win or go home, basically, even though it's still not that. They're not mathematically out. But at this point, that's the mindset that they should have. If the 49ers treated every game like it was the playoff game, we win or we go home, maybe they'll play a little bit different. But for some reason, they keep toying with the whole situation. They're 1 game out of first place in the division. They can still win the division. They still have a chance to win a wild card spot. Yet they're at 5-6. And they get and they're supposed to get players back. So I wish that the 49ers just all the way sucked and tanked and called it quits. We got 6 games left of this bull. Hold up. 6 games left of this bull crap. We got 6 more games of the Niners playing around with their food. And I think that's the worst feeling. It's like, how can you cheer? You want to cheer on your team because it's your team. You want to believe in your team is because it's your team. But every time they step out onto the football field, they put out the worst product. They're not putting out good product. They're giving us subpar play. And I don't care if Trent Williams is out there or not out there, Deebo, Ayuk, whatever. It doesn't matter. The team looks unprepared every single time they've been stepping out onto this football field. And they got to travel to Buffalo to take on those juggernauts of the AFC East. And I'd be damned if they show up in Buffalo on Sunday night, which they do play better on Sunday Night Football, so that's a good thing. It's just if we talk about trends and statistics and whatever, they play better on Sunday Night Football. Take it how you want it. But from the product we've been seeing, it's like, all right, Christian McCaffrey, trash, Deebo Samuel, dumpster. Who's some other vets that just don't look good this year? I think for me, Kyle Shanahan just said, okay, guys, you're not playing well. I don't know what the problem is. And whatever it is, I need to get these other guys in here. I just need to get them in here. Do something to provide a spark, Coach Shanahan. And that's why so many people want Kyle Shanahan fired. I don't think it's the simple fact that they don't like him or whatever. I think they just believe he lost the team. Like, he lost the way to win. He's lost the will to win. Like, he's not even trying. Kyle Shanahan's not even trying. That's what I get from Kyle Shanahan. He's not even trying to coach a better team. All the vets on this team, all the captains should remove their patches, give them to some young players, and get some type of a spark or energy from these youth. I think the youth movement needs to bump all the rites of passage and whatever they hate, whatever happens to the rookie, bump all that. And I didn't even just talk about the rookies. I'm talking about we got some younger players on the team that just need opportunities. I'd rather watch Ronnie Bell drop a pass than Deebo Samuel drop a pass. I just rather watch Ronnie Bell because at least I know Ronnie ain't getting the snaps. I can't even say that mother. You scared to catch the ball in traffic? I mean, they would have took your head off. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know how you touch the ball. Touch it, go down. Like, stay on your feet. Catch it, hit the ground. Let them hit each other and collide themselves out. That's right. Catch 101. How does it go right to Deebo Samuel? Deebo, how does the ball go through your hands? Speaking of Deebo, we got to talk about Deebo Samuel. We do. We got to talk about him. I don't know what's going on with Deebo Samuel. I don't know personally. I don't know him personally. I don't know what's going on. I do know that he did decline to speak to the media. So let's just have a quick talk about that. I want to tell you, like, I just, it's part of your job. Like, win or lose, you're obligated to speak. However you take that conversation, and is on you. But I don't like the fact that he passed on one of his obligations. And that right there leaves a bad taste in my mouth about Deebo Samuel. And as much as I've supported this guy and bigged this guy up and said that this guy, he doesn't look different. And when I meant by different, I meant by as far as speed, burst, all that type of stuff. So everything else, like Deebo, whether he's old, whether he's whether he's losing it, he can't catch. And if we're gonna be on that can't catch trend, those players they need to sit down. Because you got a backup quarterback out here that is probably struggling and terrified, right? This is his first opportunity in a long time, and Deebo did nothing to help him. And I got 2 drops in this game from Deebo. At least that's what I saw. I don't know what PFF graded his drops as. Let me get it since I'm right here. But those 2 passes that went through his hand and were dropped were terrible. Like, I've never seen that. He's usually sure-handed on catching that ball. They graded him with 2 drops too. I thought so because one wasn't a good target for him, and then he caught the one for 21 yards. When it comes to Deebo Samuel, I'm just expecting more, not because of his contract, but because he's the veteran in the room. I could care less about the contract. I can care less about any of that. I expect him to be the example in the room. Now, whatever smoke comes at Deebo, he's going to have to take it. He's going to have to face it. He's going to have to fight it. He's going to have to do whatever, because you can't be on national TV calling out your kicker telling your kicker to lock in, and then you go out there and put up this type of a bad performance. Last week, he get the pass. Why? Because he caught his targets, the ones that were catchable. This week, these balls were catchable, and they were drops. At some point, not this season, you can't do it this season. At some point, you got to look back at these games, and you got to say, Deebo, whatever we got to do, you either got to take a pay cut. Deebo next season is going to be what am I trying to say? Deebo in 2025 is under contract for one more season. He's going to be 2025's version of Eric Armstead. Mark it right now. The Niners will come to him and say, hey, you're going to take a pay cut. And Deebo's going to be like, nah, just release me. I guarantee that. I don't care about, that's what it's going to be. You've been giving opportunities to prove that you're this, you're number one, and you're blowing each and every single time you get the opportunity. Now, I'm hoping Deebo goes out in Buffalo and has a great game, but I'm tired of hoping. We're supposed to be able to count on your top players. When you're a top, and that's why I understand when the faithful get angry and upset, because if you're being paid as a top 10 player on your team, then they're expecting you to perform week in or week out as a top 10 player. I get it. So offensively, I get it. Trent Williams was out. Brock Purdy was out. So the next man that I'm looking to or looking forward, and I don't know if the calf injury he got earlier this year, whatever the injury he was dealing with, I don't know if that's hindering him. I mean, it could be, but at this point, Deebo, maybe it's time, maybe it's just time you just play football. Whatever, however you want to take it. I ain't trying to be, just got to play football. At this point, put on your pads, man up, and play football. That's what it needs to be. It needs to be that for every player, though. But Deebo has his own podcast, and he's been pretty vocal out there. And then he does these little stunts or whatever, and they're zeroing in on you, bro. Either you need to do something really good, or just keep being ready for the smoke, dog. Just be ready for the smoke. Be ready for the smoke. And when number one is called, you gotta execute, my boy. Like that to me is my biggest pet peeve. Players not executing. We could talk about Kyle Shanahan till we blue in the face. We could blame Kyle Shanahan till we blue in the face. But at the end of the day, if Deebo catches that pass, we're not talking about Kyle Shanahan. We're not talking about Brandon Allen. We're talking about, damn, what a great catch. What an amazing throw. First down. Ahoo, ahoo, ahoo. That's what we're talking about. But when your best players are failing, it becomes a problem. And then we want to know why the 49ers continue to struggle. That's why. Their best players are inconsistent. Deebo, offensively, worst player. What in the world is going on, my man Fred? Don't tell me Fred is slowing down. I will not take that for an example. I will not. But he hasn't looked good in the past 4 or 5 games. And we saw it yesterday that Fred Warner looked different. Different. So different that he missed 4 tackles in the game on running backs. Hey, Fred missed a tackle on a coverage play. Okay, cool. But his job is the running back. It's like Fred and Deebo having these weird years. Fred started off really hot, totally different, defensive player of the year candidate. And again, now, nowhere in contention of being the best of anything in football. I don't know if the team is deflated. I don't know if the team is defeated. I don't know any of the answers because I'm watching football just like you guys are watching football, and I'm in literal shock. I'm in literal shock, man. Team just didn't play a good game. They just didn't play a good game. They didn't show up good. They didn't play good, in my opinion. And that's what you get. You know, that's the product you're going to get out there. Offensively, George Kittle graded as the best offensive player on the football field per PFF. He played a total of 41 snaps in the game. He finished with a 90.7 grade for George Kittle, highest grade of all the 49ers. So congratulations to George Kittle just for grading really well. You saw him catch passes. The first pass of the game was to George Kittle on a nice little flip pass. He finished with 80-plus yards, I believe, in this game. And George Kittle looked good. George Kittle looked like George Kittle. Like he looked like the guy you can depend on. And technically, when you got a backup quarterback or any quarterback out there, you want to lean on your tight end, right? He went 6 for 6 for 82 yards with a touchdown. So George Kittle definitely did his thing. He definitely balled out. Jalen Moore, I thought, played a decent game. He graded well. So I didn't watch film to see what he did bad yet. I don't have it as yet to watch, but he graded with an 81.7. These are top 5 offensive PFF grades. Kyle Juszczyk with an 80. He was number 3. Ben Barch came in for 7 snaps. Now people are like, well, I got a message saying, why is Ben Barch out there? Aaron Banks, I believe, left the game with a concussion. And so that's what happened to Aaron Banks. But Ben Barch did come in on his 7 snaps. He graded a 62.9. And 5th, Jawan Jennings with a 61.6. 61.6 grade, Jawan Jennings. Those are your top 5 grades. Bottom 5 grades for the San Francisco 49ers offensively. And I'll start from the highest to the lowest. All right. So let me go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Brandon Allen, 47.1. He was 15th. Deebo Samuel with 45.5. He was 16th. Eric Saubert, 41. Him and Jake Brendel were tied at 17th. And believe it or not, I don't get this one. And this is where people will scratch their heads or curse out PFF data makers or whatever. Jordan Mason with a 38.4 on his 9 snaps that he played in this game. 6 of them were passing snaps. I think he probably missed blocks. That's the only thing I can go back. I have to go back and watch the film. That's what I do. I look at the grades and I go back and watch the film, zero in on the player and try to see how the hell did they grade that snap or this snap or that snap. So I'll check that out. But I do know he had 1 positive run and then the rest of his runs were negative. Believe it or not, 3 runs total. He finished with 8 yards. He started with 16, finished with 8. So that means he lost 8 yards. I think that's probably why he also graded low. Those are your top offensive grades. And I agree and disagree with some of those grades. Defensively, the 49ers didn't have 1 defensive player graded over a 70. That's how bad the defense was. That's how bad the defense was. That is terrible. Not 1 grade over a 70. Diamador Lenore had the highest defensive grade, 69.6. Malik Mustafa with a 69.3. Jair Brown with a 63.8. Malik Collins with a 63.6. And Leonard Floyd and he finished with 2 sacks, a 61.7. Your bottom 5 grades, Jordan Elliott, he also left the game with a concussion, a 50.6. Isaac Yiadom, he was 15th with a 47. Devondre Campbell was 16th with a 46.2. Fred Warner, 17th with a 44.7. And Renardo Green, who also left the game with an injury, a 28.6 for Renardo Green. So, again, I'll be going through the film and kind of seeing where players probably got graded poorly. 19 missed tackles for this defense. I'm looking at it right here. 19 missed tackles for the defense. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. 19 missed tackles. Defense had a total of 15 pressures. I mean, now you see as much as we talk about Nick Bosa not being as effective out there on the football field, you see how his absence really allowed Jordan Love to kind of like not just feast, but just even in a run game, like not having Nick Bosa was crucial. Was crucial, in my opinion. It's crazy. It's just crazy. It is. There's no other words I can say about it. Now listen, I understand that the San Francisco 49ers look terrible, But here are the latest in the NFL standings, right? And so it's like almost saying that, there's still some type of hope out there for the San Francisco 49ers. Like, right? I mean, look, you look at the top teams, and we can go through it. So for those that don't know, this is not broken down, so we'll go through it. Every team that's leading in the division will get a playoff spot. So right now, the Eagles are number 1 in the East. They got probably the number 2 seed. But even though they're tied with the Detroit Lions, but I don't feel like figuring out whatever. And I think Detroit Lions got 10 wins. So Detroit Lions got the number 1 seed. All right. So Eagles number 2 seed. They're top of the East. The Seahawks are the number 1 seed, even though they're tied with the Cardinals, but they just beat the Cardinals, so that puts them to number 1. So they're the leaders of the West, right? The NFC North is the Lions. They got the best record in the NFC, so they got the 1 seed. They'll get the bye, right? So as of right now. And then you still got the Falcons out there at 6-5. Now, Falcons were on their bye week, right? And so we're tied as far as our record. Us and the Buccaneers, the Rams, they beat us once. Like, now you're looking at the wild card spots, right? Cardinals, Rams, 49ers, all these different teams at the wild card spots. You feel like the Vikings and the Packers going to take 2 of them, right? Because they're just good teams. And then it comes down to the West, the teams out in the West. Will it be the Cardinals? Will it be the Rams? Will it be the 49ers? The Niners are literally 1 game away from like being at top of the division. The Niners can still find a way to win this division. Why? Because they still play the Cardinals and the Rams. You can't make this stuff up. I don't know why the Niners made this whole situation or season that much more difficult, but there's still a glimmer of hope for the San Francisco 49ers because the 49ers can possibly win the division. And if not, they can still probably try to land that 7th seed as a wild card spot. A lot of work to do, crazy uphill to climb. It's crazy. And I know we don't want that to be that, but it's just the way it is at this point. At some point, we just got to accept our situation. Like, right? We got to accept our scenario. It is what it is. I know we have no tiebreakers. I totally understand that. That's why they got to win the division. I think winning the division is crazy at this point. We got help from the Seahawks this week. We got help because whoever beat the Commanders knocked them down a little bit. Listen, 6 games left. 6 games left. The Niners still have an opportunity. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe that the Niners team deserved to be in the playoffs. And even if they snuck into the playoffs, unless they fixed up the way that they prepare for games, right? Unless the Niners literally came out, had a dominant offense, defense was back to normal, and they started winning these games, they won't go far. And I'm at the point where I'm just like, maybe the Niners just need a season of not being in the playoffs. They need a season off. Kyle Shanahan can now finally have time to actually pick his coaches, go through coaches, make the right changes there. That's where it starts. Then you go through your personnel as far as your players. Who can you live without? Who can you walk away from? Who can you ask? I think, believe it or not, losing would be huge for the San Francisco 49ers, but it would suck for the San Francisco 49ers, but it would be a good thing for the 49ers, moving on to 2025, 26, 27. Because when you're looking at the future, it's like if the Niners continue to compete and not win, all they're doing is just messing themselves up in the long run. So if they actually lose, possibly they can really fix some things internally, get players the proper rest, let players heal. Because I'm at the point where, hey, here's my suggestion is, all right, bench CMC for the remainder of the year. He not right. Don't allow Dre Greenlaw to come back at this point. Keep Hufanga all on the IR wherever he is. Bring Feliciano back. See if you can get a little more tough up front, man. Let one of them offensive linemen, especially with the concussion to Aaron Banks, maybe today the Niners have to activate. John Feliciano by today. If not, he remains on the IR for the remainder of the season. So it's going to be crazy. Now, listen, I promised I was going to have you guys call in where you could get your takes off. Feel free to talk about, this game or whatever, how you feel like the Niners season has been going. I kind of want to get your takes on that. Here is the number. I'm going to put it at the bottom of the screen. We're going to try to get this to work. Now, I know it works for me, but I'm hoping that when you call in the number, they can hear you out there. That's the part we're struggling with as of right now. But I think the Niners situation, they need the season off from the playoffs, get that draft capital, start building in the trenches, and get this team back to being able to be bully ball mentality. They can't run the ball. They can't stop the run. Those are the two key things to me for the San Francisco 49ers. If they can fix that up, I think the 49ers can get back on track sooner rather than later. But there's also a possibility that it all works out. All right, let's see if I can get my man NYC on here. E-Nice, what's going on, man?
Freezy, what's good with you?
I'm good, man. I'm hoping they can hear you out there. Can y'all hear him? Please tell me y'all can hear him. I feel like I got this stuff hooked up right. I can hear you clearly. You sound amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Mic check.
Yeah, you sound Gucci. I'm hoping that they can hear you. I'm waiting for a thumb up or something. Because I don't want you to waste your time talking. Yep. I don't think they can hear you. Oh nope. Snoopy says sounds good. Snoopy, you can. Okay, they say they can hear you. All right, man. Get your take off, man. How you been, bro? It's been a long time since we've done this. A long time from hearing from you, but it's good to be back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be looking at you every day, though. I'll be dropping the likes and everything. I just been trying to maintain. I can't even go to the bar watching the game no more.
I hear you. It's tough. It's rough. It's rough.
I wouldn't make it out.
I know. It's rough, man. I don't know, man. Like overall, like, because you're probably like me. Like you know that the team has the potential, and you know the team is better than what it is, but this is the team. Like, this is our team right now.
Mason needs more carries.
Amen.
If Deebo got the number one wide receiver on him, we got to, like you said, Jawan and the rookie got to get more catches.
Yep.
Kittle being out was real big. Eric was open a couple of times, but I think he got hit in the head with the ball or something. It's a lot going on, man.
It's too much, right, to fix.
Yeah, that's why I just wanted to start at.
Yeah, like it's, and I think that's the issue with the Niners this year, right? It's not like it's just one thing you could kind of like pin your hat on, right? And then we talk about the offense. We talk about players not like executing when the ball gets thrown their way or the lack of usage of certain players. But then what about these penalties, bro? Like, these penalties are like really screwing up the rhythm of the offense. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes. Penalties always screw up. It could stop a drive, what was it, 10 in the first, 12 in the first half? It can stop everything. That 1st and 10, like hold-ins and stuff like that, especially if you catch the ball and get it and go. Now it's a hold-in and it's coming back. Man, what are you doing, big dummy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Moving forward from this game, how are you feeling about the Niners and the remaining 6? You don't got to give a score prediction, but like, do you still have some type of hope because they put on that red and gold and you be like, yeah, they got an opportunity? Or like, how do you feel the remaining 6 games?
I'm glad you said we put that red and gold on. We go out there, we play every day, we play to win. I do not go out there to lose. Losing doesn't build no character. Winning build, I forgot, it's earning. What is it? Winning is earning is winning. Not learning is losing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You get that money, just go get it, man. And if anybody in our way, it's a speed bump. And we're not getting it done. Like I said, I'm kind of, I ain't gonna say I'm over it, but you know, I'm kind of, it's over my pay grade.
Feel you.
But we got to do better. Like, I don't know what you got to do. I told somebody this the other day, they like lied. A got to get the B got to get the C, and C got to get the D.
Yeah.
That easy, homie.
That's it. It is. I agree with you 1,000%, bro. I try to stay. I've tried to keep it real, but it's like I still believe in this team. Like, there's so much optimism that I believe. Like, but if this thing does this, if this person does this, and this person does that, that would have worked. Like, that's how I be thinking. Like, and so like I'm just like, man, they just gotta figure out how to just say what you just said. I think if the team came together and say exactly what you just said, we just gotta do it. Stop thinking about it. Just do it. Like, just go out there and get it done. This team will win. I don't care if the game is gritty or not. Like, the team can win.
But then I got to really back up and say, like I said, Cal's decision making. I don't want to put a lot on him because everybody says, "Oh, if he get this and all, if he get another offensive coordinator, but he's a bad head coach. He might be a great offensive coordinator, but
yeah.
no, I ain't gonna say bad. I'm sorry.
No, it's
He's
hard
just
to manage players, yo. You know how hard that is? That's
yes.
part of head coaching. I don't think he's managing the
But
players well.
I seen Garendo go in right, and then CMC called him out, not Shanahan, not the running back coach.
Oh,
CMC got that finger and said, "Come here, boy." And
wow.
he sat down and CMC came. That's not it. That's not it in my mind.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. So
Nah, man, I appreciate the opinion, man. Thanks for calling in, bro.
yes, Breezy. Yes.
All right,
Love
man.
y'all, boy. You'll be good, man.
Same here, brother.
Nitty gritty. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Happy holidays, man.
Happy holidays. I'll call you every time you got it up.
I
I'll
got
be
you,
trying
bro.
to check it in for you.
Appreciate you. All right, man. That was my man E Nice in here. Again, guys, if you guys call in the call-in number, which I'm going to remove for right now because I got a bunch of calls in the queue, and I'm going to try to call those in the queue back. All right. So I'm going to remove the number and try to call. Here we go. What's going on, man?
Hey, Breezy.
Boats, there you go. All right, now you're clear. What's going on, bro?
Oh, nothing. Just wanted to call in and rough loss this weekend. But you know what? The biggest thing is this week coming up. Get some time off of work, spending time with family, hanging out, enjoying some football, not watching our team get crushed on Thursday. Maybe the Cowboys getting crushed. That'd be nice. But, you know, just keep up your spirits, man. Football's fun and all, but it's this game at the end of the day. But I don't know, man. Playing like everybody else thinks. Just this team was unfocused from the jump this year with all the distractions, training camp, the holdouts, the money grabbing, everybody just worried about their own self. I don't know. I never had high hopes. I had optimism, but not high hopes. This team just seemed unfocused all year, and the holdouts and everything, just caught up to us. And it's just one of them years, man, where people just are just checked out.
Yeah. Do you think part of that is from just the hangover of the Super Bowl, like playing all that football, getting that far, dealing with injuries, not winning? Like, it's different if you won the Super Bowl and you have the hangover, but losing the Super Bowl, having a hangover, that's something new for me. Like,
I think a lot of it is. I think, you can't play that many extra games. I mean, that's almost like an entire season in the last 3 years. Extra these guys have played. And then on top of it, the heartbreaking loss. And I think it cements the fact that in football, you're not going to win a championship, but your contract's more likely to be guaranteed. So you focus on what's more tangible in life. And, when you gotten that close twice, you secretly think, okay, that's probably not going to happen again because statistically most players never make it to 3 Super Bowls in a career. Dan Marino made it to 1, and he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So you being one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time don't mean you get more than 1 Super Bowl appearance in your career. So guys just kind of went after the money, and I think guys just, success brings opportunities outside the business. Purdy's out here doing commercials. CMC getting married this offseason, doing commercials. I mean, I think when you get successful, other things start pulling from you, and you don't realize those things are pulling away your attention and your focus.
Brock Purdy too. I want to put that in there. Brock Purdy too, doing commercials, got married, doing commercials, like.
Yeah. I mean, opportunities are pounding for these guys. Who knows what kind of opportunities are getting behind the scenes and commercials. And it's hard to stay focused on football when you've had success.
Good point.
Because success fools you into thinking it's going to happen the next time, That's why I respect teams that never get too complacent. As much as I hate the Chiefs, I think Andy does a great job of reminding those guys every year, especially this year, that, last year wasn't good enough. I don't care what you did last year. It ain't good enough. It ain't going to be good enough this year going forward. So stop with all the egos and the rest of it, worrying about the contracts, If you don't want to, play on a recent good contract, and then, we'll ship your ass, like Linaria C. They shipped him, and guess what? Titans just put him on IR. Saved him a boatload of money. The Chiefs didn't have to pay that guy because he would have came back next year with that sense of entitlement of success. And I think even to the best of human beings, that gets to you. I mean, I know in my firefighting career, we'd get complacent after we kicked a few fires' ass, kind of got routine to be able to, roll up and put out a big fire real quick and stuff, and then complacency bites you in the ass. And I think, these guys have just learned that factor. My biggest hope is I'm hoping the rookies are paying attention to this. When you got Fred Warner coming up to the mic saying this is the most embarrassing loss of his professional career, I hope guys like Ronaldo Green are listening to that. That even Fred Warner, one of the best linebackers of football, can come out and blow 15 missed tackles almost by himself. That ain't nobody safe in this league. And it don't matter what your name is, what your reputation is. If you ain't grinding every day and putting in the work and being smart about it. Like CMC, he overtrained this offseason. He knows he's a running back. He knows he's almost 30 years old. He knows he needs to take it easy on that body in the offseason. This ain't no rocket science here. He goes out and he overtrains himself, ruins half of the season. Mixed up the whole mojo of the offense right there without CMC. And so I'm just hoping the young guys are looking from this, and this will just be a good reminder that, success is a double-edged sword in the NFL.
100%, man. I couldn't have said it any better. Boats, thank you so much for calling in, brother.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Same to you, man. Peace out.
All righty.
All right. I'm going to get to the Super Chats at the end of the call-in portion. I will look to call these numbers back as we speak, so bear with me. I see some numbers in the queue, and I'm going to call Corey first. Got Corey, Jax, and my man Ancho will be called next, all right? Let's get Corey on the phone. Corey, what's going on, bro?
Yo, Wayne Breezy, my guy. How you feeling, man?
Hey, man, I'm hanging in there, bro, man. Other than just, excited to enjoy family this weekend, but it sucks when your team just not what you expected your team to be. And I think at this point, I'm just accepting us for who we are. So how you feeling? How you holding on? How you hanging in there?
Yeah, I'm hanging in too, man. Just going over a little cold, but I'm okay. I'm just not going to let that, stop me. But you know what, though, Wayne? This is not easy to explain how the season's going for our squad, bro. Mm-hmm. I mean, you done for the season.
Crazy.
And then we go for CMC missing the first 10 games of the season.
Crazy.
I mean, it's just so demoralizing. I'm like, and then we got, Jordan Mason trying to hold it down. Deebo's not living up to his expectations like you say he's not, and I agree. And then he talking about holding the fort down while Brandon Ayuk is gone, and I don't see it happening.
Can't miss those opportunities, dog. Like, at some point, he got to be called out. He got to be checked. Every player need to be checked. Everybody need to be checked. I need to be checked.
I agree.
People just need to be checked. Like, and it's okay. Like, it's you know what it's called? You know what being checked is called? It's called constructive criticism. I feel like if you say it in the right way and don't do it in a disrespectful manner, it should be welcomed. And some people suck at handling constructive criticism. I'm the first person at the end of every show that's going to ask for feedback. I need to know what I could do to be better. I don't know if that's where Deebo is in his mind, but being an older player, being a veteran, I'm expecting Deebo to be that guy. Like, how can I be better out here for my football team? How can I be a better version of myself so that I can help this football team win games? It's not just on the quarterback. It's not just on the kicker. Am I doing my part? You know what I mean?
Right. And you know what else, though? I'm going to just ask you this question, though, Wayne, because I know your opinions do make sense in certain ways. If Deebo doesn't perform this year, I heard that you asked
pay cut.
Will he accept a pay cut? Now, if he says no,
release.
Do you want him to be released?
Absolutely. They're going to do him like they did Eric Armstead. I'm starting to see a pattern with the San Francisco 49ers. And Armstead declined his last year. He was hurt and he declined. Maybe that's what's going on with Deebo Samuel. Maybe that's what Ryan was talking about on his show when he said, I see something different in Deebo Samuel. And I was like, nah, he's still good. Like, if you get him the ball in space, he's still going to produce. He did that yesterday. Like, his game is based off of space. If you have him running out getting routes, well, good luck, because you're going to get what you get. But that's never been Deebo. So why not utilize him to his strengths? But at the end of the day, bro, I can't defend the person that drops a pass. I can't.
I understand.
If the ball's behind you, I could defend it. If it goes through your hand, bruh, you got to catch that ball.
Right. I'm the same way because I know every catch is not easy, but like you said, the ones that's catchable, I mean, that's in your hand, like you said, you got to make an effort on those. I know it doesn't work all the time, but the critical catch, because that could have made a difference of them coming back in that game. And I saw that replay. And then when I saw on my phone that it was intercepted by that play call, I'm like, oh, man, no.
Huge difference, bro.
And
because
that's what gave the game up right there.
Yeah, because they swung it and turned it into points. First of all,
Exactly.
you gave them the ball with great field position, and then they just turned it into a touchdown. You can't they score let me just give you this quick crazy stat. You ready? They were 5 for 5 in the red zone. Green Bay
Ouch.
Packers were 5 for 5 in the red zone. The Green Bay Packers, we were the 27th ranked team. They were the 28th ranked team. They were worse than us scoring in the red zone, and then they played the 49ers. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It is. And we were supposed to be the better red zone team than they are in that game, and it didn't turn out that way.
Stats said we were, but they just didn't finish that way. It sure didn't. It's crazy, man. So, go ahead.
Yep, but you know what else, though? I hate the fact that when Niner faithful saying the season is done if it's a must-win game.
Mm-hmm.
A must-win game comes down to me when you're in your division matchups.
Okay. That's fair.
That's how I feel it's a must-win game.
That probably is technically what the must-win game is. I think when I say it's must-win, it's more from a mental standpoint to they got to get over this hurdle of not losing. So if they treat every game like that, like a divisional game, they'll probably find a way to win, but they can't even do that, bro. So I think with the way you see it, I think that's the correct terminology of must win. And they've lost 2 must win games? They lost 3 must win games this year because now
Yes,
they can
they
only
did.
go 3-3 in the division, right? It's crazy.
I know. And that sucks to a standpoint, but the reason why they're in that difficult position because of injuries, and I know injuries take a toll on a lot of teams.
Yes. On all the teams. That's why I don't really own in on the injuries. You know what I mean? It's part of the game, and every team is dealing with them. This is week 12 in the NFL. Everybody's going to be banged up, but how do you recover from it? I always thought if you got the key pieces there, I mean, maybe it's just that tough when you don't have your quarterback out there. I don't think Brock would have made much of a difference in this game, but I definitely thought it would have been more competitive.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. I think even though regardless, if Brock Purdy was out there, I don't think the game would be much of a blowout if he was or wasn't out there. And I agree with you 100%. But winning in Green Bay, I mean, Green Bay always had our number for a while of us not winning there.
That's true.
I knew Jordan Love was going to come out with revenge. I knew it.
Yeah, you're right, bro. You're right. I got to get these other calls on here, Corey, but thanks for calling in, and I'll definitely try to make sure that Mondays, now that I got this thing working, be the call-in show.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, definitely I'm going to tune into that.
Yes, sir. Next Monday, we'll be previewing the game, so that'll be cool.
No doubt.
All right, man.
Love you, bro.
Peace. Love you, too.
Yep.
All right, I'm calling these numbers back in the queue. Thank y'all so much for calling in. Get y'all phones ready.
Hello.
Jax Knox, what's going on?
Hey, y'all. So I got the flu, so y'all got to kind of excuse my voice or whatever. But, so I'm calling because, I just feel like starting from, Kyle down, all the coaches and the players, just everyone, everybody got to, do their job. Because you got people out here that's paying big money, season ticket holders, going to these games to see y'all perform, and y'all just not holding up y'all part of the bargain. I'm just saying, for us, I just feel like that they need to get better entwined with one another. Like I said, starting from the coaches down to the players, and just get a reality check to see what's going on and what's missing. Because, we need y'all winning these games. Y'all can't be, having us come to these games and then don't win. How you think that make me feel? I'm paying money to, so, I just feel like we need to, get a come to Jesus talk and just, okay, y'all, look, Jack needs y'all to win these games. Y'all can't be having her coming out here and then y'all ain't winning. It makes no sense. You know what I'm saying?
So you want
that's all.
you want I just want to make sure I'm understanding where you're coming. You want Kyle Shanahan
Yes.
to win these games because you be spending your money?
Wayne, a.k.a. Breezy. Do you know the amount of money that I spent
No,
going
no,
to
no.
these damn
I'm just
games?
listen.
Like,
Listen. I'm not asking. I'm just saying. Is that what you're asking for?
yeah, because I'm different.
It's
Like, I can't
that ain't
speak for
nothing
everybody
different.
else. I'm speaking for me. I'm just
I
saying for
don't. But
me.
I don't think
Like,
that's
I need
anything
them to
different.
win the game.
I think
I
everybody
need.
out there feels some way, the way you feel. Whether they spend money to go to the games, whether they spend $8,000 on
But
NFL.
Wayne, listen,
Hold
Wayne.
on. Whether they
Oh
spend
God.
whether they spend the money on Sunday ticket, whether they spend money on memorabilia, whether they spend money on. You're right. I think at this point, I think the issue, your issue, is
Okay.
with Jed York, because now you're asking the owner, listen, bruh, like,
You right.
we're investing in your team, bruh. So you need to go talk to your
You
coach,
right.
bruh.
You right.
And you need to
you
tell
know
your
what,
coach to
Wayne?
get his shit together, bruh, because I'm spending this money, bruh. Like that.
Wayne,
So you need
I
to
didn't
write
even
Jed
think
York.
about Jed until you just said it.
He's part of
Jed
this
York,
too.
bruh, get your shit together. Like, oops, sorry, you two, but yeah, get your stuff together. Like, because I can't be spending all this money and stuff like that. Now, when it comes to Buffalo, I don't know who going, but y'all got to dress like warm, because if it was cold in Santa Clara and I almost froze to death, you think I'm going to Buffalo to freeze? Heck no, not this time. So yeah, I'm gonna have to just pass them on and just do whatever. But anyway, hey y'all in the chat, this is Jack. Yes, down south. So Okay, y'all, I'm finna go. But anyway, y'all, listen, for real. Let me be for real though.
Okay.
Y'all,
Be for
we're
real.
gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay.
Yep. And next year.
I just feel like we're gonna win these games. Guess what, y'all? I'm so optimistic. Guess what? We're gonna win the rest of these games, right? If we're gonna get in the playoffs, we're gonna win, and we're going back to the Super Bowl.
Now listen.
How about fucking that? That?
It's a possibility. It's been done before.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Like, you just got to believe. Like, I got that faith. Even though we've been losing, I just feel like we going to get
It's never
there.
been done by the
what I'm saying?
49ers, though. But it's been done in NFL history. So.
Yeah, so guess what?
Mm-hmm.
That's really, like me, I'm different. Like, I'm different than a lot of people. So here's the time for my team to be different. We're going to be different because it's been other people. We ain't never did it. So now it's our time to do it. You get what I'm saying, Wayne?
Absolutely. I don't see it, but but it can happen.
Wayne, don't say you don't see it.
I don't see it. Like, I haven't lost faith.
Okay. I ain't gonna hold you up because I don't want to hold up. I don't want to take forever in the day letting everybody else come. But check this out. What if it happens?
Oh, then if it happened,
can you please remember this day and say, you know what? Jack Knox said that. Because I don't need nobody else taking credit, because, people be trying to take credit on that.
If it doesn't happen,
I said it.
If it doesn't happen, I'm going to sit there and say, remember, Jack Knox said, so you got to be careful, because this is the receipt world. This is the receipt generation.
Who gives a damn about a damn receipt? Don't nobody care about no receipts.
All righty.
Period. Don't nobody care about nobody having no receipts or nothing else.
You guys remember
if
Jack
you said it,
said,
if you did, and guess what?
Now
I'm
listen.
gonna call you out on that. Period. But anyway, y'all, I ain't gonna hold y'all up because, like I said, I got the flu, so I got to get myself together because I got to cook. But I hope y'all have the most amazing day and have the most amazing Thanksgiving or whatever. And I'ma holler back at y'all when Wayne do the next calling and show.
Yeah, we'll be talking trash
like
about us losing to Buffalo on Monday. That's
okay.
We'll have that conversation. We'll be mad
Bye,
again.
y'all. Bye, Wayne.
Bye, Jax. Thanks for calling in. All right, got a couple more callers I got to get to before we dip up out of here, man. I appreciate the calls. I always enjoy the calls. I hope he's not in class because I definitely want to get his take.
What's up, Breezy?
49er Media in the building. Funk's Flex Bomb. What's going on, baby?
Oh, man. I'm so tired of this team.
I know. It's rough. It's just rough.
It's not even that. It's like the offense looks bad or the defense looks bad or the special teams is a whole different story, man. But it's just all three phases of the game just look terrible. I think this is by far Kyle Shanahan's worst year as a head coach, like what the Niners maybe ever even, but.
And it's unacceptable, right? Because it's like his first year here, okay, his first year. I mean, he got
Yeah.
players. He
And the
gathered some
roster.
players that he wanted. He got players he inherited. He spent money on Okay, you drafted a couple of guys. Most of them didn't work out. You can accept that. Then they got better. It could be simply that this team is getting older, and somebody like Wayne Breezy doesn't want to accept that. And I think I'm gonna have to start saying that Father Time is undefeated. And I don't know if you're watching them and they're looking older out there on the football field, or if they just look discombobulated. I'm on the discombobulated train. I don't think it's age as of yet. You just said that they don't look good offensively, defensively, and special teams. You can't have all three.
Mm-hmm.
One of the three, but all three, 100%. That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, because like we know special teams is just bad anyways. But yeah, I think they are getting a little bit older. I don't know if it's the whole team, but there's specific players like Deebo you guys mentioned. Just I think that 2021 season it was like, all right, we see him as kind of that wide back, right, wide receiver, but he just hasn't been the same. He's been hurt so much after that, and I get it. He had pneumonia, but the one thing I will say to him, dude, he said he was talking to Moody, right, to get those field goals and lock in. Why don't you lock in Deebo? Because I don't see him locking in.
Deebo, you gotta lock in 19. Maybe you need to switch your number back to 19. Yeah, I don't know, because you're definitely not number one.
Yeah,
he's not looking like a number one to me. And you know me, I love me some Deebo Samuel. That's my dog. But I ain't afraid to call a person out. But bruh, this ain't it. I don't know what it is. And if you're hurt, don't play. If you're injured, don't play. At this point,
exactly.
And maybe you're right. You mentioned pneumonia. How did I forget about that? And I'm not saying that that's the issue because we don't know. But you ever had a upper respiratory situation, and when you try to come back from that, your body just ain't right. It really needs time. I wonder if that's part of it, because every time he makes a big play, he's on the sideline getting oxygen. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just not right physically, but I don't know how he dropped them passes, man. You don't need oxygen to catch the ball. So yeah, I'm a little pissed off.
The burst is just not there, but yeah, maybe it is the pneumonia. But I think the Niners, they need to, I'm not saying rebuild because they obviously have the talent, but they need to retool.
I like that.
I think honestly, I think they need to go with the Rams kind of way. I think 49ers throwback was saying that in the chat. You just look at the youth that they brought in. Everybody's like, oh, Aaron Donald's going to be such a big loss. Clearly, it doesn't seem like it. I think this Niners team needs to kind of go back to a little bit when they were having to rebuild this team and just, I think, rely more on the youth instead of going after these Hargrave guys that are, getting older. Malik Collins. It's just, I think they need to get younger now. And the problem is they haven't been hitting on the draft picks.
There we go.
The last few years are,
there we go.
Just not playing them enough. That's the other issue.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to answer that because you said it, and it's like the Niners, in my opinion, from what I've seen, they've struggled ever since they traded DeForest Buckner on the defensive front. They have not figured it out.
Yep.
They have not figured it out. And, they went after the D Ford. He helped us get to the Super Bowl, but then he was unavailable because he was hurt. And then they tried to find ways to replenish that position. Can't figure out. There's never going to be another guy that could do what they had in their mind, like D Ford. Leonard Floyd ain't that. There's Nick Bosa clearly is a different type of rusher. But let's talk about the defensive front, because they're trying to address it in free agency. That's not working out. You could walk away from Hargrave next year too. It's another person you could move on from, and maybe they do invest in the trenches. I think that's what they do. But you know what? They tried that and that didn't work. Bro, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about this team. I don't know, but they got to figure it out.
Yeah.
They do got to figure it out.
Thorbeck says, Drake Jackson, that's been a miss.
Oh, my God, they missed on Drake Jackson. Huge. So
Yeah.
so like, see what I'm saying? Every time they try to address it with the youth, it's a miss. They're underdeveloped. Maybe their
Mhm.
scouting is bad. Maybe they need to scout differently. Maybe that's something we could talk.
Yeah.
Maybe losing, and I gotta get to the other two phone calls, but maybe losing Anshul
Yeah.
would be the best thing
Mhm.
for them because now they can actually have time to prepare for the draft, prepare for the
Yeah.
offseason. Players could get healthy. All that type of stuff can start to seep in because the Niners have been playing a lot of football lately, and it's probably just catching up to them.
Yeah. Yeah. The last thing I'll say is I think I can kind of make it similar to like the Golden State Warriors,
Oh,
right?
okay.
They kind of, have won these 4 championships, and then I know they had injuries too, but it was just like they kind of needed that retool, and then they go out and win the 2022 championship. I think the Niners are in a
You just
very
had to bring that championship up. I like that. That's what we were
sorry,
doing here. No, you're not sorry. I know what you're doing.
but I think that's just kind of where the Niners are at. They
Good
need to start
analogy.
hitting, and
Wrong timing, but that makes perfect sense. Nah, but you're right. I think the Niners are what you just said that they are. I think they're exhausted. I think they're and stuff is just catching up to them, and it's hard for us to see that because we are on paper a legit threat.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
if we're not at full strength, if we're not at full this, then this player's overcompensating here, and this player's overcompensating, you're not at full strength, and so now it's going to start to show. And you got to factor in the one thing that I don't think anybody else is factoring in. So let's do it right here. The other teams are getting better.
And younger too, like Detroit,
Bingo.
Green Bay.
Bingo. And different coach philosophy too. Like maybe it's time to
Yeah.
leave outside zone away and sprinkle it in and get back to power running. Maybe get back to the pro style form, line the quarterback up under the center and get rid of all the shotgun. I know why we're in shotgun. He's trying to help Brock Reed to feel better, but bruh, bump that. Like, come on. Let's go. Like, switch it up, Kyle.
Yeah, some of it is so much just like he relies too much on the scheme, and it's still more like, all right, can I get this guy open? And if it's like he's not open, all right, then what are we supposed to do? And
Yep.
it's just like, yeah, no,
And
I agree. They need to
then you see the
change the
breakdown. Then
philosophy.
you see the flaws, and then there come the penalties after the snap, like post snap penalties on the offense. It's just crazy, man. But listen, appreciate your call. Hope you finishing strong in school. You should be done in a little bit, right?
Yep, few more weeks.
All right, man. Finish strong, bro.
Yeah. Thanks. Have a great
You too.
Thanksgiving.
Same to you and your family. Peace.
All right, bye.
All right, I got 2 more calls to get to. I don't know this person. This must be a first-time caller. I don't recognize the number. I got to get to these calls earlier.
Yo,
What's good, man? You're on the Wayne Breezy Show. What's going on, baby?
who is this? This is Tommy.
What's going on, Javi? What's good?
God, we fucking suck.
Yes.
Excuse my language.
Nope, I understood. We're way into the show.
What in the hell is going on? We're just getting whooped on both trenches, just like Raiders media said. Oh,
I have no answers. And usually I try to find answers, but I have 0. I can't tell you what team is out there other than that they're the San Francisco 49ers. And I can't tell you why we're getting beat, why we're getting bullied, why we just looked the way we did. It was this week's loss was bad. This week's loss, we looked bad and it finished bad.
I just think that real Trey Lance trade really, screwed us because
Picks, yes.
we don't have any.
Yes.
We don't have top talent players. I mean, we're top heavy. Remember how we were always critiquing the Rams in 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're so top heavy and they're finesse. That's exactly what we are. We're a finesse ass, soft, top heavy bunch of bums. It's just like and I'm just like questioning the talent on this team. Are we really that talented, or are we just a bunch of high-priced names on the jersey that aren't?
It's so hard to determine that, right? Because you've seen the talent work, and
Yep.
now it's not. So is it You know what? Can I ask, how does talent fall off?
Right?
So-
Like you said, Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yes, like Father Time. Yeah, that's the only way. That you know what? That's the only way. That's the only way. It doesn't matter what it is, because I was about to bring it into like singing, but if you're a singer and you don't take care of your voice properly, time will catch up and that shit will go away. And you'll be like hoarse after one show. You'll be like, what happened? I used to be able to do 4 or 5. You're right, Father Time. So I'm thinking the training of these players. We had one caller called in and talked about CMC going extra hard in the offseason. For what?
Yeah.
What do you got to prove? Why? You need to win a championship, my guy.
Why would you do that?
Right. So now that leads to Achilles injuries and listen, when you're younger, it's different. Brandon Ayuk, and I know people don't really like him a lot, but he said something one time on he was talking about lifting weights and why his workouts are the way he was. He's like, man, after that combine, I stopped lifting. I don't lift weights no more. I do more agility and these type of workouts, and you see why he's more fluid out there on the football field, because you're not young anymore. You're not preparing your body for that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it comes down to training, eating, all that type of stuff. There's so many issues with the San Francisco 49ers, bro. We can't even fathom the one thing we need to do is figure out how to win. I think they need to find a way to win. Can they find my question to you is, can they find a way to win?
I don't know. I mean, the Bills, that's going to be another blowout, and we're just going to be embarrassed again. Fred Warner's going to go, woo. God, I feel bad for Fred Warner. He must be injured or something.
Something's off.
How he had no tackles. Like, what is he just getting, like, they're just attacking him, or I don't know what. He's overcompensating, like you've been saying.
I don't know what he was doing this Sunday. I can't tell you. I'm going to be scared to watch the film today. I'm going to literally be like, I'm going to grab popcorn.
I already knew we were going to lose, but I didn't know we were going to be embarrassed.
Exactly. Now, you said being embarrassed by Buffalo. I mean, at this point, can we say what would be embarrassed? Like, because we know we're not going to beat Buffalo, right? Like, now we know.
I just want them to put some effort in. Like you said, I mean, 15 missed tackles? What's up?
Yeah, 19 total.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
God, I mean, oh, Jesus. And then all these, this is off topic, but all these, the poverty-ass Seahawks fans coming in, like getting high on their own fumes.
Hey, man, listen.
Ooh.
There's not one dominant team in the NFC West.
Exactly.
And at this point,
the Cardinals they're trash too.
So
sorry, I sound like a grandmother.
I get it. There's no dominant team in the NFC West, and the only thing is that the Niners have an opportunity to take care of business because they play the Rams on Thursday night and they close out against the Cardinals. They can still have a possible way. Even if without the tiebreakers, they can have a possible way of winning their division. That's some crazy job. If the teams continue to lose and beat themselves up.
I can see it. It's not out of the woods. It's just the Rams really look good on both. I mean, like not this year, but I know their trenches are going to be like really
they're going to be
good,
solid.
I mean, probably the defensive line, the offensive line. Still, they paid too much money for guards and. They've got major flaws, but maybe I don't.
I think the Niners need some time to address the trenches in the offseason via the draft and possibly walk away maybe from Trent Williams. He doesn't look the same either.
Maybe.
But there's a lot of evaluating that's going to have to go down from now. And I think right now we got 6 games left, bro, Javi, and we got to figure out how to win those 6 games. And let's just start with Buffalo. Let's be mad, let's be angry, and let's get focused because we got to play the Bills, and we'll see what happens.
I just have one question about the draft. I mean, don't you think if they want to be trenches, what's more important, the defensive line or the offensive line?
If we don't draft offensive linemen, I will be mad. At this point, I need the offensive line to me are more scarce to get later on in the draft. You can find diamonds in the rough on that defensive interior. Like if you're looking to place the interior.
We've been doing that, spending too many
or
high
a
draft picks on the
specialist.
defensive line.
Like if you're looking for a speed rusher, you could
Yep.
probably find one in round 2, 3, 4, right? But
Yeah.
if
Unless
there's
we
some
could
offensive
somehow
line
trade.
talent, you got to go get it.
Yeah, I think we really need a right tackle. I mean, or left tackle or whatever. So a tackle.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be
Somebody that's played tackle that's not just a tackle in college that moves the guard.
Yes.
Somebody dominant, like, could play right tackle or left.
Yeah.
And Jalen Moore, he sucks. He's got to go.
I got you. Got you.
Anyway, all right.
No, man, listen. This is what this show's all about. I'm not mad. I love it. Like, players need to be called out and addressed.
And don't get me started on Brendel. Like, we could talk for freaking 2 hours about that bum.
Listen, Brendo, he got one more freaking year, I think, under his. You know what?
Oh,
he needs.
Jesus,
they need to move
please.
on. They need to move on. They just need to move on. They just need to move. He can't be the worst. How are you ranked worse than two centers that don't even start in the NFL? Like, I'm confused.
Brent, Breezy, I think I'm going to hell because I think I'm the first person to wish an injury on my own player. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I just wish Brendel would get injured.
Now we can't have that talk. We can't have that talk. Now listen.
I know. I just to have Feliciano at center because I know he's 20 times better.
Well, hopefully
even
he'll
when
be
injured.
Today. The Niners have to activate him or they lose him for the season. So we'll see what happens, man. Keep your ears to the streets, man. But thanks for calling in.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Peace.
All right. Take care.
All right. Let me get my boy on, man. I haven't talked to this fella in a minute, man. And then we'll close up the show. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I still got super chats I'm going to read. We'll be wrapping this up in the next 9 minutes. I promise I won't keep you much longer.
Breezy.
D, what's going on, baby?
Fam?
Man, listen. What a freaking year, right? Like, what a year. Like an undescribable season that none of us can, other than, you tell me what you think, because I need to get your take.
Okay, so for me, y'all already know me. Y'all know I've been on the get rid of Kyle Shanahan train for a while now.
100%.
I know a lot of people like him, and that's fine. Everybody is entitled to their opinion and how they feel.
100%.
Me personally, I honestly think it's time to overhaul, man. I'm sorry. I think we need to overhaul.
So blow this whole thing up, like just let it.
We gotta blow it up, bro. We gotta move on from certain people that we paying that ain't doing their jobs.
Okay.
Me personally, it's what everybody has to understand with my disdain for Kyle Shanahan is very simple. You're not getting the job done.
Yes.
And he gets in his own way too much.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what stops you from winning football. You know, I have arguments with people on a consistent basis about Kyle Shanahan that are 49er fans because they're like, we're winning. I'm like, once again, I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell anybody else tells me that. You've gotten lulled into this sleep state of we're winning and we're relevant, so it's okay if we don't win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
We don't come from that. I come from when we had greatness, where we were fighting every year, tooth and nail, to try to get to the playoffs, to try to get to a Super Bowl. I come from the Eddie D school. If I met Kyle Shanahan, I would ask him one simple question. Even if I met him today, I would say, do you want to win a Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking. And I want an honest answer because it doesn't seem like you do. You can't keep putting together a ragtag bunch of dudes on your offensive line thinking it's going to work. Now, Dominic Clooney, me personally, I'm going to give him a pass. Won't even stellar all year, man. He's a rookie. These mistakes were bound to happen at some point. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want you to have that many mistakes in one game, but they were bound to happen.
For sure.
When it comes down to the run game, the first thing I said when CMC came back, I hope Kyle don't run him into the ground. And what has he been doing? Running him into the ground. You have a viable back in Jordan Mason who balls, who's shown it to you, who's up in the top of the league in rushing. And you neglect this dude. Why? Why do you do these things? You get in your own way. I'm sorry. I feel like at this point it's just time to overhaul. And I know what people will say. Oh, well, what if Kyle leaves and he goes and he wins a championship elsewhere? With his track record here, I ain't too sure that's going to happen. Will Kyle get a job tomorrow if he's fired today? Yes, he would. Everybody's going to look and be like, y'all stupid. Y'all should never let him go. You go ahead and take him and see how far you get. Because the minute he meets Patrick Mahomes and Steve Spagnuolo, he seems to fall apart.
Yeah,
These things have happened.
His game plans seem to be weak.
I just want him. The only thing I've ever wanted for this team is another ring. We started off 5-0. We now 0-3. And it's frustrating as a fan because I start to feel like most of our fans don't have that hunger for a championship. Like, they don't want one. They're complacent with us just being relevant. And I'm sorry, relevancy ain't getting the job done. That don't mean nothing. You don't get this. Football doesn't have a second, third, and fourth place. This ain't track and field. You've got to go out there and you've got to win. Now, the funny thing to me is we ain't heard nothing about Dre Greenlaw and when he's coming back, and everybody seemed to forgot about Huff as if he doesn't exist since Malik Mustafa's playing so well. So I'm like, what is the issue with Huff? Where has he been? Why are none of our beat writers asking about him? What is his situation in general? So for me, I'm just like, at this point, this season is a wash. The Bills are going to beat the brakes off of us, and so are the Lions. And then we got to hope that the other teams that are in front of us in this wild card,
so are the Dolphins, and so are the the Rams and the Cardinals. There's a possibility
we got to hope these
0-6.
teams keep falling apart like we are, because we don't have it's a struggle. I already got my ticket to the Cardinal game, so I'll be there. You know what I'm saying? But the only thing we can hope for at this point is to be ruining someone's seeding by that time, because that's the last game of the season. It just frustrates. It's frustrating to all of us as Niner fans in different ways. But for me, I see one common denominator, and that's Kyle.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't understand. To me, it's very simple. When a team loses, they don't go out there and blame the players.
Okay.
They honestly don't. At the end of the day, they blame the head coach. They do. This is just how it works. That's period, point blank. You go if a man goes out there and cheats on his woman, they don't blame the woman. They blame the dude. Why? Because he went out there and cheated. So with sports, if you fail, the first person they look at is the coaches. I'm sorry. Forrester is horrible as an offensive line coach. I'm sorry. I don't like him. He's worthless. Get him out of here. We just need to do a complete overhaul and have to understand, hey, we had some good little runs, but we never got the job done. At some point as a franchise, at some point as an owner, Jed York, you got to start looking and going, did I make the right decision by just continually extending this guy and he ain't even got the job done? And we about to just go into purgatory right now. We go out of here and we lay a bomb and we don't make the playoffs this season. Yeah, there's going to be people asking, can he get the job done? And this is what I tell everybody when they get mad about me saying let go of Kyle. Head coaches, but there's one thing that will always last, and it will be whether you won the big one. When Marv Levy gets mentioned, you know the first thing they say? Great coach could never win the big one. You don't want that tag assigned to your name. You don't. As a head coach, you want to at least have one. Sean McVay ain't done nothing since that Super Bowl, but I tell you this, he got one up, and he beat Kyle to get there. Like there's just situations, so if they look at Sean McVay, they're going to go, well, he's still got a young coaching career, but hey, he got him to the promised land, and they won.
True that.
Because you get that credit. When Jimmy was here and we was winning games, as much as people didn't want to give Jimmy credit, you had to. Why? He was the quarterback. So he gets the credit for the win. Doesn't make a difference how you like him or how you don't. That's the case. And I'm not a Jimmy Garoppolo fan. But I just think it's time to restart, move off of some of these crazy contracts, get some new coaches, get some new blood in here, and figure it out. Because at this point, Kyle been here for 8 years and has given us, unfortunately, nothing. No Super Bowls. You went twice, you failed twice. Unacceptable. At some point, you got to Jeffrey Lurie this and move on.
Well, sounds like something that the owner needs to make a tough decision come the end of the season, depending on how the season ends. That's really good points, man. And, if Kyle Shanahan's going to have to, right now, never mind winning the Super Bowl, you need to figure out how to get his team to win a game.
He got to figure out how to win a game. And one last thing, because I know you got to go. You got to do your thing. Why did we start Brandon Allen over Josh Dobbs?
I can't answer that question, bro.
Why?
Makes...
What? No, I wouldn't ask. That was rhetorical.
No, I know.
Why?
I just
Kyle,
don't understand.
And here's my thing. This is. I'm not gonna say it on your show because it's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason,
mm-hmm.
and I don't like it, and
Okay.
it gets on my nerves because it's proven. But it just, I'm sorry. You got a quarterback that just played last year, who's won a few games, who shows you flashes of greatness.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't start that dude over the dude who ain't played in several years and whose record is 1-5. What are we doing? Oh, well, he knows the system better, sir.
Well, you can't say sir. Because for one, you don't like Kyle Shanahan because he's a system guy. So that's the only thing that makes sense. He starts the system guy. You put in Josh Dobbs out there, he's not going to be a system guy, and it could cause the system to be out of whack. It's the only thing I can think of that makes sense. Who did I want to see out there? Well, I'm tired of the system. So at this point, it's time to blow up the system. Time to change the system. And so, but you know what? That's not Kyle Shanahan. So
that's true.
If Kyle Shanahan is this guy and his way is the system, he's gonna put out the pieces that makes the system work. I don't agree with it, but that's just who he has been. That he's not changed in 8 seasons, and I don't know why we expect him to change that. But maybe that's why you saying Kyle Shanahan. Maybe they need to start there. Bring in a new coach, and then you'll get a new coach, new philosophy, new system, new whatever. It could be all of that. Could we win right off the bat with the new coach? Possibly, but there's also the other possible that we don't win at all. So I don't know if people are complacent with just winning. I do think they know it's really hard to find a good head coach. I think Kyle Shanahan's a good head coach, but like you said, to be in the stratosphere of the all-time greats, you got to be able to win the big game. So, unfortunately, he's 0-2. So, good points, D. Appreciate you, bro. Love you, man.
All right, bro. Nothing but love.
Peace. That was a great call-in show, and I hope I could get that to continue to work as we move forward back on the Wayne Breezy Show. I said I needed to get to some of these super chats, so let me do it. Sammy and Pickle with the super chat contribution says, our defense looked like 60-year-old Mike Tyson, and the Packers didn't back off like Jake Paul. They knocked us the bleep out. You know what's funny? I like that. I like that analogy a lot. I do know that fight was fixed. So maybe this game was fixed because it didn't make sense. None of it made sense. Another conversation for another time. Nigel gifted a membership, and I didn't get a chance to see who he gifted because I'm not watching on a live stream. But thank you, Nigel, whoever is the new member. Appreciate it. Sammy and Pickle came back with a double up. He doubled up, man. Show Sammy and Pickle some love. He says, our crappy drafts caught up to us. Here we go. Now we're talking. Last year was good, but before that, we had some terrible drafts. And we had the other caller, Javi, on saying that Trey Lance draft is coming back to haunt us. 3 first-round picks. And now you don't have the young talent, or depending on the aging vets, it's not working. Good point. Why? Vets are older, they're declining, and they're just not available sometimes. You're missing guys. George Kittle was missing last week. It's crazy. So, Sammy and Pickle, that's really spot on. I appreciate the super chat contributions. Nigel says, Breezy, why is Brandon Staley here? The D got worse. Could he be the reason why the defense is worse? What the heck is even his role and responsibility out there? I don't even know. I just know he's an assistant coach and he won't be here next year. That I do know. Bro, the defense looks terrible. The defense looks terrible. Oh, it was me. I didn't know he said Tommy. I thought he said Javi. Couldn't hear him. What's going on, Tommy? Tommy was on the phone that called in. Tommy's cool. Tommy can play the guitar. Tommy can write songs. Tommy can sing. You know what I'm saying? My bad, Tommy. I didn't hear it sounded like you said Javi. My apologies. But Tommy was on the phone giving those crazy takes, and we can't figure out what the hell is going on with this team at this point. You know what? Great show. Great comments, great calls in. I got one more super chat contribution from the lovely Miss Debbie. Thank you. She says San Francisco 49ers owner Jed York has said that the team's only goal is to win Super Bowl banners, not division championships or NFC championship banner. Time for Jed to do what he said. Kyle ain't it. Very, whew, those are some tough words. And you know what? He may just not be it. And here's my thing, right? If Kyle Shanahan is let go, fine. Let him go. But the plan, when you let Kyle go, you have to have a plan, Jed, in place, because you can't put this fan base on a trajectory downward to where we have to figure out how to do it all over again, start all over. When Kyle Shanahan came here, we had to start all over. And I don't want that to be it. Like, you got to have a plug and play, ready to go plan. And I think that's almost impossible for him to find a guy that can come in, plug in, play, ready to go, keep the team relevant and find a way for them to win a championship. I mean, it's almost unheard of. Like in the NFL, right? I mean, even we look at, I just want to say this because you look at Andy Reid, and Andy Reid did a bid in Philadelphia. I mean, a bid, right? Like, and couldn't win. And then he came to Kansas City and couldn't win there either. And then he got his opportunity by getting him a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And Patrick Mahomes. And then next thing you know, you get it done. Now, does Bill Belichick want to come in and take on the franchise, Mark? Not saying he can't, but we all know it's Bill's way or the highway. It'll be another type of system coach. Do we want to do that? At least the defense, I think, in my opinion, will be more sound because you got Bill there. But Bill's offensive coordinators have been ass. I can tell you right now, though, if Bill Belichick is the coach of the San Francisco 49ers next year, then Josh McDaniel will be back with the 49ers coaching the offense. This could be good. This could be good. And we could get back to the screenplays and all that. But it's crazy, man. It's crazy to think that we are in a situation where, that the only way I'm replacing Kyle Shanahan is with a guy that has won a Super Bowl. I'm not going to replace Kyle Shanahan with a guy that has not won a Super Bowl. I don't think that makes any sense. I just don't think it makes any sense. We say we'll take Ben Johnson. Has he won as a head coach yet? I'm just curious because I just feel like it doesn't make any sense. You might end up in the same situation or whatever or whatnot. The guy you really wanted back here would have been Jim Harbaugh, but he hasn't won either. So it's going to have to come down to a guy like a Bill Belichick if they do look on the move from Kyle, because now you got a coach that has a track record of actually winning, who's going to need an offensive coordinator. Oh, my God, we can get back to some normalcy. Like, you know what I mean? We could get back to some normalcy. Offensive coordinator, calling plays, Bill focusing on the defense. Oh, man, I guarantee Josh, what's his name? Josh McDaniels, that will be literally the OC. That's get ready. Get ready for it. So if Bill is the guy, get ready. But listen, man, it's been a rough season, and the season is not over. And unfortunately, we got 6 games left of this. I'm hoping that the 49ers can find a way to turn some stuff around. You know what? When we look at Kyle Shanahan, it would literally, if he can just change up his ways, his philosophies, just by doing the little simple stuff, right? Just by rotating the backs. Your guy, if Christian McCaffrey doesn't have it, and I know you want to see him get it, you're trying to get him his reps, you're trying to do that, fine, you can still do that. But give Jordan Mason reps. Why? Because he can potentially keep you from not punting the football offensively. It's just common sense. It's just common sense. as far as the penalties, we talked about that. Got to address it. Got to find a way to stop them. And special teams is you could fire the special teams coach, and I think the special teams would just play better instantly, just like that. You know what I mean? But as far as firing the head coach, Kyle Shanahan, I don't think it would be a good decision to move on from him. I know he hasn't won, but he's definitely been one of the coaches that's faced a lot of adversity in this game. And it's not about really keeping the team relevant. It's more like, the team is winning. We're competing every year. But for some reason, he just can't put the right unit together to get over that hump. Whether it's the players, whether it's the coaching, whether it is Kyle Shanahan struggling with that concept as a head coach. And that's what you get when you get a offensive coordinator becoming a head coach, right? With no head coaching experience, you take your lumps. Seems like Kyle Shanahan's on that Andy Reid trajectory. It's kind of like what it seems like. So every offensive coordinator goes through their woes. I remember Bill Belichick didn't win automatically when he became the head coach of the New England Patriots. It took him some Drew Bledsoes and a Tom Brady, right? But they got it right. And once they got the formula, they stuck with it. Kyle right now has the opportunity to try to find a way to figure some stuff out. And if they get into the playoffs, they get in. Whatever happens after that happens. But right now, they need to figure out how they're going to sit there and try to compete against the freaking Buffalo Bills at this point. Guys, you've been amazing, man. Love you guys 100,000%, man. Keep up the great work out there, man. Shout out to the Breezy Bunch crew one more time. Thank you to all the Super Chat contributions. I know Kyle's not it. It is what it is, but he's it until he's not it anymore. So we're going to have to live with it for at least 6 more games just to see if Jed York, like Miss Debbie says, does something different. All right? Does something different. Hopefully Jed York mans up, and we'll see what happens. A little older now. Maybe he has a little bit more say and whatever. Damn it, Jed, you own the team. Do something. Do something to fix this, because like some of our fans out there, they're investing a lot of money into good product to be put out there on the football field. And for those out there that are optimistic, yeah, it could be worse. So hopefully the 49ers will find a way to rebound from this ass whipping that they took in Green Bay. And hopefully they don't get their butts whipped in Buffalo. Till the next time, keep it faithful to the Bay.